I can't believe we're on episode 99. It's amazing. Anyways, episode 99. What do we have? Adobe CEO taps out as the AI heat rises. Some robots news. Figure shows off autonomous living room cleanup robots. OpenAI news drops a new GPT model, and then kind of like our musings. I think as starting a couple of weeks ago, I think OpenClaw, etc., has been a running theme through our episodes as everybody's talking about it, and we've started to dabble in it, and yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's been a fun couple weeks playing with OpenClaw, building OpenClaw, using it, but also just using a Claude code and vibe coding. We'll talk about that later. We really want to talk about it as you've seen in our previous episodes. But first, let's talk about the news. Adobe CEO stepping down, like you said. Shantanu Narayan has been the CEO of Adobe for 18 years now, and he announced that he's stepping down. And Adobe is going to run a global CEO search, meaning they didn't have a successor, which is surprising
I know.
after 18 years. And because of this news, the stock dropped about 7% on the news. Adobe itself had a pretty good earnings report this last earnings season. But yeah, that's a long tenured CEO with no successor. It's going to rattle the stock. And so, number of reasons why investors are nervous. One is AI image models. We all know that there's so many tools coming out these days centered around AI, like Nano Banana Pro is one of the more popular ones, but even video. There's a lot of companies that are spinning up to just take advantage of generative video and imaging that and that Adobe hasn't really been able to solve wholly. And so with the CEO stepping down, that disrupts the strategy. Canva has been a popular tool of choice. People have signaled that they don't want complex tools like Photoshop to use. They just want something simple that's going to get them work done pretty quickly. Essentially, just do it for me. And that's what Canva does. There's a stat here: 200 million users last year in Canva, and none of them had ever used Adobe.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and then the last is pricing pressure. So Firefly is their generative AI model that's inside of Adobe's subscription.
Mm-hmm.
But because, like I said, there's so many things going on in that domain, and it's saturated. It's not really a differentiator for Adobe anymore, and they haven't counteracted what's going on. So those are the three main things. And for myself, ironically, I just didn't renew. So caveat: I have a relative that works at Adobe, so I get a huge discount on the Creative Cloud subscription every year. But I have to like ping and say, hey, can I get a discount code? I did not renew this year for like the first time in 6 or 7 years.
Yeah,
because I don't think I need to. And last thing is, and it was a huge relief because Adobe's applications suck up so much storage space.
yeah, no, yeah. Ironically, I just went through an exercise of like deleting all the Adobe apps off my MacBook because I was like, why do I have no storage? And it was literally like, a few hundred gigs worth of files. I'm like, okay, that's
It's crazy.
insane. But yeah, I subscribe only on their Black Friday sales. I've done so for many years, even though I barely use their tools anymore. And I think that's the problem, right? Is Adobe's walking a fine line, right? They are known as, well, for creators in general, right? Photoshop, Premiere are some of their most known products. And yet AI is really about it creating for you.
Do it for me.
Also, it's built upon the works of creators, right? And so it's kind of like a weird spot to be in. It's like they had tons of issues before where people like, are you using my works to train your Firefly, right? And that was a big deal. Adobe's always had issues with their monetization. namely that they use a ton of dark patterns, right? I think they settled a lawsuit with FTC, and so there's just a lot of things going on with this company that just can't seem to get right. And I don't know if it's because they've been the behemoth for so long. We're talking 20, 30 years. Like when I was in college, right? Like using Photoshop and Illustrator was like a big deal. But yeah, they've got challenged. I don't really know how they're going to solve it either. It's just because of where they sit.
Lots of
Yeah,
bloat probably
yeah,
in the company, and
lots of bloats. Just like not a very clear strategy of what they're doing. Like
yeah,
their Premiere, for example. So I think Premiere is probably the biggest one since video seems to be the biggest thing. But like what they've done to include AI in it is just like been very like meh, like not interesting at all.
that's what I was gonna say. Like when I've used their generative features in like Photoshop, it's like I'm kind of not impressed.
Yeah, like their Photoshop ones is like Google and Apple have done it in their Photos app, like remove somebody in the background, right? And like that's like one of the biggest use cases. It's like, okay, so Adobe is kind of doing that in Photoshop, but it's not great. And like on the video side, uh, we haven't talked about Netflix, which is a quick call out. Like Netflix acquired Ben Affleck's company that is basically Premiere, but better in every single way possible, meaning that it like takes in all the film and you tell it what you want and it'll basically adjust and cut and
Crazy.
edit, like reproduce it based off all the film it's taken in, right? And so that's the type of thing you would have expected Adobe to be able to do, but for some reason or another they haven't even done anything around it, right? Which is kind of crazy if you think about it. But congrats to Ben Affleck, by the way. 800, what was it? 800 billion, $600 billion from
Uh,
Netflix.
600 million.
Oh, not billion. Yes, 600 million. Sorry. That would have been a lot. 600
Yeah.
billion. Yeah, 600
Let's
billion.
let's
Anyways,
actually let's touch on Netflix after this story, since we
yeah,
said we were going to talk about it last week.
yeah,
But maybe to close, to wrap up the Adobe thing, I think it was probably mutual. Like the CEO clearly could not compete in this intense
yeah,
AI environment.
yeah,
It's probably, I'd say the last 2 years is probably like the timeline of, hey, all this stuff's going on with the advent of ChatGPT. What's the strategy? In the last 2 years, they have not been able to do anything
yeah.
competitive. And so it's probably mutual. It's like we need new leadership, and he's because it's probably a fiery but also a acceptance.
Uh,
Like not having a successor, that means it was probably kind of abrupt, and I hope they can turn things around. I mean, Adobe is not going to die; it's too big right now to really die, but
wow.
it's got some high pressure in the next 5 years where personally I wouldn't be an investor.
Yeah.
All right. Anything left to say on Adobe?
No, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
they've got. I mean, I was gonna say maybe it's the next TTD.
Hey, TTD is going back up.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, so Netflix. Yeah, last week we touched on it at the end, but we never actually talked about it. If you're not aware, the Netflix Warner Brothers Paramount triangle was closed a couple weeks ago when Netflix pulled out of the deal, and Paramount, Larry Ellison's son's project, gets to buy Warner Brothers, well, the streaming division of Warner Brothers Studios, as his new prize. I think it was, and after that, Netflix's stock started going back up, and I think it actually was a good call on their part.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, good call in that they stuck to their valuation, right? And they didn't increase it to basically try and beat, whatever. I think they also saw it was kind of like a lost cause, right? Because Larry Ellison, the guy's father, is very close to Trump, and so of course, in this admin, it's who you know and how you become, how you get things past the government, and so yeah, I think they also saw it as a lost cause. And interesting, there was like an interview with one of the co-CEOs, and he was like, it's like we had a set valuation, we stuck to it, and then eventually we'll be able to buy it cheaper anyways because they are taking on so much debt.
Yep.
that it's going to be impossible for them to maintain it. And so,
Good
we
play.
view it as, in a few years we'll be able to buy it even cheaper
Paramount will
and
go bankrupt.
maybe get both of them. So I'm like, this is game theory at play, right? It's like you
Totally.
got to know what your worth is and what the asset's value is, right? And that's how you kind of game it. But yeah, and so, you know, there we go, Netflix.
One thing related to the political angle is Pete. I did catch Pete Hegseth, who's the Department of, I'm going to say Department of Defense. Like I do not like Department of War.
Yeah.
Department of Defense Secretary, when he was giving one of his daily briefings this week, he did mention, what was it? The Warner Brothers Paramount acquisition. He was talking about it. And he was like, it was totally random, but just like solidified this whole thing is a political like capture of this network beast. He was like, he's talking, giving his briefing on the war, and he's like, uh, yeah, and some I think reporter or something, or he's like the media is incorrectly saying this, and that's why I'm excited for Paramount and Warner Brothers to go through because they can start giving you the right messages. I'm just like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. So like, CNN is probably the biggest one, right? That's owned by Warner Brothers that will basically be under the admin's control. And so I mean, really what we're seeing is like state media is what's being come like built. But I don't know.
We shall see.
Anyways, we'll see.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So robots. You want me to talk about swins and say,
Yeah, since you said
watch this video?
you watched the video, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So last time, as Tony mentioned, we talked about a company. I think it was in Germany, somewhere in
It's a
the
German
yeah,
company.
it's in Germany,
It's a German company.
that raised a big round for their cross domain robotics AI technology.
Mm-hmm.
Figure AI, which has been in the news before, we've mentioned them before, released a video on March 9th, Helix 02 demo video. And the video shows their robot in a living room. It's about a 3-minute demo doing what you would want it to do as a robot in your home, which is tidying up. So the robot goes and it goes into a mildly messy. I like the comments because the comments are all like, now let's see them do that in an actual messy home.
Right.
But the home is mildly messy. Got like some pillows thrown around and some stuff on the coffee table. But it goes in and it sprays some cleaning solution to wipe down the tables. Puts the towel over its shoulder. Moves a cup back to the dining room table.
Right.
Repositions the pillows so they're tidy. Moves a basket back to the next to the couch. So it does all these things that tidying up, and it's just a demonstration of kind of this main use case, which I think a lot of consumers are looking forward to, is how do you use robots to do things at home that you don't want to do, or that you don't have time, or that you're just at work and need someone to take care of. So it's pretty cool. The questions I have is, one, how real was this? Again, all the robot stories we seem to see, there's always someone controlling it from afar.
Operator off to the side.
Yeah. And then one thing I noticed was it was cleaning the coffee table with 409 solution, which is like, cleaning solution. And then it went and put that solution bottle and the towel that it used to clean on the dining room table. And so I was like, I don't know if I would want to put, because like all the plates are there still. It's like, I don't know if I would, that's not a good choice. I mean, this is like a nitpick, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wouldn't, I don't know, but no, it was pretty cool. Like, if it was really doing this on fully autonomous software, it's cool.
Okay. I mean, I guess we'll see. As Elon said, he thinks he can sell 1 billion robots in the next few years. So I guess there's a market for it. And maybe even if he got 1% of that, it would be a $100 billion company.
Yeah. Well,
if Tesla can be worth 300 billion, no, 300, no, what was it? 30 trillion per Elon, then I'm sure Figure is probably worth what? 1 trillion?
Share my stock has a future worth of
Oh my
1
gosh.
billion.
Anyways, okay, that's
But talking about the competition, yes, Tesla's focus is a million robots, but their primary, I think, focus and use case is manufacturing.
or so he
Figure AI,
says. Or so he says.
yeah, Figure AI, which is what we just talked about, is logistics plus home. There's Agility Robotics, which is focused on warehouses. Amazon Robotics, focused on fulfillment.
Hmm.
And then this company called Sanctuary AI, which is focused on general labor. And Figure has raised money from Microsoft, Nvidia, OpenAI, and Jeff Bezos. So this next 2 years is the age of robots. We'll see. Robotaxis, robots, robot pets.
I guess we'll see.
All right. You want to bring us to OpenAI?
Yeah, so I mean, this is not huge news, but OpenAI did launch a new GGP model 5.4, which some were saying is on par or better or worse, depending on who you talk to Claude's, recent 4.6 Opus, which is considered like the best coding reasoning agent out there. And so GTP 5.4 is, I guess, the opposite, the converse of that, or the competitor to that. But yeah, that launched last week, or it started to roll out a couple of weeks ago. Last week was a lot more people got it, and so I think everybody should be on for it at this point. But yeah, but there we go. Mainly focused on reasoning coding. I think it's kind of where it was the major improvements from the previous 5.3. At this point, I'm just ready for like the whole number, like these, you know, 0.123 point X is like, it's minor stepping stones. Give me the whole number. Give me 6.
Yeah. Yes, the purpose of 5.4, well, there's a couple things. 5.4 is flagship general. Oh, I see. I think the launch was maybe last week was more around the pro version
Mm,
because 5.4 was actually launched on March 5th. So it's like 2 weeks ago.
yeah. See.
5.4 thinking is for deep reasoning tasks, and 5.4 pro is their enterprise power tier, which is
Yeah.
centered around agents.
Yeah.
And so
They got
yeah,
to work on these naming things. It's like thinking. Like, isn't 5.4 already thinking? Anyways, that's the product marker to me. It's like you guys gotta put more thought into this.
if you recall, OpenClaw was acquired by OpenAI as
Mhm.
well as OpenClaw's creator, and his whole remit is agents. And so this release of 5.4 Pro is meant to improve enterprise thinking. So you can actually just tell it, do this workflow for me,
Yeah.
and it'll do it
Yeah.
for you. Much like what Cloud Code already does or has been
Yeah.
doing for quite a while. But some benchmarks performance wise compared to 5.2, there's an 80. So let me think here. I won't really go into the benchmarks. The TLDR there
Yeah.
is it's about, it looks like 20% faster in terms of like thinking and processing
Yeah. It's
versus
a little.
5.2, not 5.3, 5.2.
It's
But
also a
it
weird
has,
comparison.
what's that?
It's also a weird comparison. Nobody cares about 5.2. Everybody's been using
Yeah,
5.3. So,
that is the
anyways,
Apple-esque comparison.
yeah, it is. It is.
But one of the big things is 33% fewer factual errors versus prior
Hmm.
models. So
Yeah.
that's good
Yeah.
because you can start to trust it more. And then, yeah, like I said, you can say run this marketing campaign workflow, and it'll take query analytics,
Yeah.
generate the report, build the
Yeah.
slides, and send the summary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in general, agentic AI is the thing now. Like people, like going back to what we said earlier, we all just want this to do stuff for us
Yeah.
without even like
Yeah.
needing to really intervene much. And so that's where it's going.
Yeah.
But yes, like that trend. Oh, do you have anything to say about that before I transition into our
Now, I was gonna say it's
musings?
pretty. It's from like a normal, not a corporate user, it's just a lot more wordy. It tries to explain a lot more about what it's like your wordy friend now versus it was a little bit more concise in 5.3, but I think it's trying to show off its reasoning capabilities. But that's the biggest thing I've noticed in using it.
Yeah, and if you didn't know, you can control that in there's like customs, or what is it called? It's called custom settings or personalization.
Yeah.
Yeah, custom instructions. So mine says, I like crisp responses. Talk to me like I'm a human, not a robot.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that's one of the challenges, right? It's like when you see like these, like 5.4, there's a thinking, there's a pro, and there's like a mini, and there's like a codex. It's like it's like a different way you have to think about it. Or like when we're talking with each other, you kind of automatically switch and adjust, right? But here you have to like be conscious of what work do you want to try and do. Can you select the appropriate model to help you accomplish that better, right? Versus I think most people generally think like bigger number, more thinking, more pro just means I'll get a better results, which is not necessarily always the case. Like I fall into that trap. I just always leave it on 5.4. I always leave it on Opus just because it's the best. It's the best. So why go with something less, right? And I think it's like a mental shift, right?
Totally.
In how you think about things.
Well, that's why if you go into Chat GPT's web UI now, I noticed this change, I think, in the last few weeks, but they put you on auto. So Chat GPT auto, which auto selects the right model.
Yeah.
You can override that, but yeah, that's what it does.
Yeah, that auto, I think it's been there. It's been there for a while, but I always uncheck it and just choose the best model. Again, as I said, it's like I don't necessarily like why use 5.2 when I can use 5.4, right? Because I want the best answer, even if it's like a simple answer. But anyways, so yeah, so I installed it on my OpenClaw. I was going to say it also chews through a lot of tokens. Like my OpenClaw has been out of commission for the past couple of days now because I don't have any more credits.
That's because you're using the best model. There you go. There's why you should not do that.
That's the drawback easy, but yeah, it chews through tokens. And so this is the first time where like I've used like all my credits, and I got 2 days to go before I can use my OpenClaw.
Yeah.
Oh man, so this is the drawback is it uses money. It's so kind of useless. It's kind of useless. I got my Mac Mini. So I spent my week transitioning my OpenClaw to the Mac Mini now. And before the naysayers say, wow, you don't need a Mac Mini, you're so stupid, I also use my Mac Mini for coding, and I've been wanting to build an app. So for those of you who say I'm stupid,
you still don't need a Mac
Mini
for that either.
Huh?
You still don't need a Mac Mini for that either.
I don't need a Mac Mini. I could have done on my Mac, but anyways, I'm dual purposing.
You could have done a VPS, which is what I do.
Really? Is that really? Yep. Your Xcode and stuff works on VPS?
Well, no, like what my workflow there is code on my VPS, pull it down to my Mac. Or did you have a Mac as well?
Yeah.
Or do you have a Windows machine?
My main is a Windows desktop. Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't even have a Mac at all.
Well, I do have a Mac laptop.
Okay, so Mac laptop, the Windows desktop, and now a Mac Mini. So my workflow is I code on my VPS, and the reason why I like that is because it just like always on, and then I pull down on my Mac if I need to build Mac or iOS.
I see. Got it. Okay.
But yes, so I'm a naysayer. You didn't need to buy a Mac Mini.
I kind of like it. It's kind of cute.
I mean, you've been complaining about spending and money, and then
yeah, I know it could be a bad decision, but
when we started, you said you were building an app. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So since my OpenClaw has been out of commission, it's going to be out of commission. So I've installed both like Codex and Claude Code and Codex as like a desktop app just to see how it works. But yeah, so I've been using Claude to develop an app, and so far it's been pretty cool. I've only focused on visual design, so basically kind of like I give it the rundown of and this is my audience, this is what I'm doing, this is kind of like the story behind it, and kind of like what I'm going for. And yeah, it's actually been pretty amazing. I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool. It's like having a UX designer at the moment and working on visuals. So I'm interested to see how the coding and the actual build out phase happens. But yeah, so far so good. It's come back, and we've gone back and forth, which is also kind of, I haven't had quite that experience with using OpenClaw, or my agents on OpenClaw is the back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
He's also giving me some good ideas and feedback, and like, oh, this makes sense. It's like talking with a actual like a product manager or UX designer. So we'll see. Yeah, app in progress.
So when you're saying you do the design, does it actually come up with visuals?
Yeah. It.
What model or tool does the visual?
I have no idea. That's the thing.
But I
It's
mean,
just
like, where do you like? Does you said you're using Claude and OpenAI or ChatGPT, right? Which
yeah. No,
tool
so
actually shows you the visual?
so I'm only using Claude at the moment because I have no more credits on Codex. Yeah, so I have the in the desktop app. It's like, I guess, like, it's like in the chat screen. So he'll just pop up the whatever, a mock of of the app.
Oh, mock of the app.
Well,
So
I
it's
guess it's more than a mock. It actually functions too.
okay. So it's basically web. It's a web. It's doing probably web um implementation, right?
Probably,
Versus yeah.
probably,
The reason
probably.
I asked is because Claude doesn't do like image generation.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
It can build websites, which
yeah,
then
yeah,
can look like an app,
yeah.
but it doesn't do image generation. And so I wasn't
Yeah.
sure like if that's what you were doing.
Uh, I mean, some of it has. I mean, there's some images on it. Again, maybe it could be. It's just whatever, an in-frame kind of like web app. But as far as I'm concerned, it looks like a mock, or it's actually like a functional mock. I guess like what was it that we used to use? Not Figma, or maybe it was Figma. Well, okay, like in Figma, it'd be like fake hookup, like you click button, it'd go to the next one. But this one's actual, like, I mean, like it's a metronome app, and it shows like needles and stuff moving, so I can see like the beats happening, or whatever. So it's kind of, it's functional. I mean, it's not build quality, right? It's more about just making sure like the general concept is there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been
Did it did it actually do the needle?
yeah,
Cool.
and it moves with the beat.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
You have to show me
So
after. I want to see.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, I'll
curious.
show you.
And so yeah, and so on the flip side though, like ChatGPT actually does do generative images, like
Mm-hmm.
illustration
Yeah,
slash like all that stuff. It was
yeah,
when I'm talking about images. But yes, like Claude can code what you're talking about is like animation, like like animation in mobile apps as well as like
yeah,
web apps because
yeah.
it's derived. I think it's mostly based on like you can do a Flutter app pretty well. Oh, that's cool. And then like you said, your OpenClaw's down, but what have you been using OpenClaw for in the last? Have you came upon
Yeah,
any cool new
what took
things?
it down? Yeah, what took it down? So I was preparing for this because I was seeing my credits slowly whittle away, and so I was trying to get a local model set up so that I had kind of like a fallback, just to at least have basic functionality. And of course, before I was able to actually test it, I ran out of credits, so I can't have it help me debug why it's not working. Why it's not working. But yeah, no. So I've still been continuing on trying to build out this orchestration layer where I can just give it a product idea and it can go out, research it, figure it out, iterate, and build it. And so I guess that's what ate all my credits.
I see.
I was hooking up the research component, and yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what I've been
Well,
trying
it
to do.
sounds like you're gonna have to upgrade plans soon. I think so. I mean, for what it's
More
worth,
money.
I've been on the max plan now in Claude,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been doing so much work, and
Mm-hmm.
I've only used like 20% of my weekly quota.
Yeah.
So I think like if you're gonna buy, whatever, $500,
Mm-hmm.
$600 Mac Mini,
Yeah.
I feel like upgrading to the max is worth it if you're trying to, do something quickly to monetize
Yeah.
off, for
We'll see.
example.
But it's like, okay, so do I pay, like, do I get max on Codex or do I get max on Claude? It's like, I'm already paying like what? It's 20 each. So that's $40 already.
Yeah.
Challenges.
You got to pick one.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Um,
what you've been
all
up
right.
to?
Well, let me chat through what I've been going through. So OpenClaw, I don't use it as much anymore.
Hmm.
Not as much as I was in the first couple of weeks, but I still do use it, and it does have scheduled tasks that it does
Hmm.
every day for me. Like
Yeah.
it still sums up my job emails and basically pulls out just the best jobs that I've worked on a scoring
Yeah.
system with for
Yeah.
me, so I don't have to read those LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor
Hmm.
emails. So
Yeah.
that's good. I look at it every day. I also had it doing a separate job hunting task and looking for um, specific domain areas. So like one area is like growth. So I've got three areas: growth, AI first, and I'm also kind of interested in like maybe joining venture capital as like a scout. That's always been interesting to me because I like learning about new ideas and startups, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've got it actually going out and just combing the internet and finding jobs in those domains separately
Huh?
from my emails. And so it's
Yeah.
been actually gotten some pretty good jobs that never even showed up in my list that I have
Hmm.
applied to. So that's been helpful. I still use it for calendar. So anytime I get like something that I need to schedule, I just
Yeah.
tell Cami to do it.
Yeah.
And then the use case now that I'm actually using it more for is taxes. So helping me organize and get everything done together for my taxes,
Interesting.
and
Okay.
also keep me on track for my taxes because I'm one of those people who always file like the day before.
Right.
So I've got it like being my tax, not necessarily my tax professional, but more so like my tax coach,
Got it. Okay, so you're really using it as like an actual like
my
personal
assistant.
assistant, right?
Yeah, I don't use the code, and the reason I use the code is because I have Claude
Right.
Code Map or Claude
Yeah.
Max. And so that's the other big project I'm working on. I have also been building an app, and I went from zero to what I would call a working prototype, like even MVP, if you were to be very critical on what MVP is, in 10 hours. So it was pretty cool. Like I basically just, my app is, I don't want to divulge too much, but it's around transparent compensation. So think like Glassdoor, Levels
Yeah.
FYI,
Yeah.
Blind.
Yeah.
But there's a core problem with all of those that I see that I want to solve, and it's a hard problem to solve. So basically, I riffed on it with an idea, and then it stood up like the scaffolding in the initial app, which is an iOS app built on
Right.
Flutter, iOS and Android, because Flutter supports both.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Wait, so what did you use to build the app? Claude?
Claude Code.
So did you
Uh,
actually
the,
do the work in Claude Code?
yeah, and specifically Claude Code CLI, so the command line interface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does it use to generate the like how did you design the visuals of it? Did you tell it and then just kind of spit out like, oh, okay,
I
this is
didn't.
this?
I did no visual. I mean, basically, I just told it instead of the like UX design, which is kind of the approach you're taking, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Me as a product manager just fed it functional requirements,
Got it.
and it built like the layout just using general, like I guess standard Flutter
Like
like
components. Yeah.
components.
Okay. Wait, what
And
is
quite honestly,
Flutter?
Flutter is a code language and also like a framework for building in apps.
Really? Is it like flutter.com?
Flutter.com.
Like is it a company or is it an actual like language?
It's a language.
So it's like
Flutter.com will take you to something else.
okay, okay. So it's like is it like Swift?
Yeah, it is like Swift. So Flutter.dev. So let me read you the Gemini overview. Flutter is a UI toolkit or SDK not a programming language itself. Oh yeah, that's right. It uses Dart. Dart is the language, which was also developed by Google and is optimized for building user interfaces.
That's right.
So yes, Flutter is the UI toolkit / SDK. Dart is the language.
Yes. Okay. Dart. Yep.
And so basically it built up this app and just worked like on that first version for what I wanted it to do, which was show me a list of companies, have a search input so that I can search for a company,
Yeah.
and have a company page with information. And the information I wanted was like valuation. And then the cool thing that I created that I was blown away by is this funding timeline. And it pulled in jobs that are available for this company at the bottom. So that was basically the company page, but the timeline was cool, just like seeing the rounds raised. And so how it got all this information was, again, I fed it kind of requirements of what I was looking for and how to actually go about getting it.
Mm-hmm.
And for startups, like the key thing is anytime a startup raises money, it's going to be in TechCrunch, for example. And so it just combed the internet for these articles and then plots that on the timeline. It can get like the amount raised as well as the valuation. So that was like within 10 hours, I got all the way there. And now, like 10 hours later, because what I realized later was like, I should start tracking how much time I'm actually spending on this. And so I had it create me a web page that shows timeline milestones. And so far it's been 20 hours. And now I'm at a point where you can add a company if it's not in the list. It shows compensation details based on what's publicly available. Or I also have it kind of create some inference model to determine what compensation should be based on comparable companies. And so that's shown in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's push notifications. So when you add a company, it could take like 10, 15 minutes to actually add because it does all this like scraping.
Yeah.
But then you'll get a push notification when it's done. There's a notification bell and like notifications page.
Wow.
You can sign in with Google or Apple.
Okay.
So that your companies persist, or so that your information persists, and you can favorite companies so that they show at the top all the time.
Interesting.
I've got a cool app icon and a cool splash screen that pulsates like signal when you launch it. Because it used to be called Signum, which is Latin for signal.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't like the name. Well, you tell me, you're the product marketer. I didn't like the name.
Yeah,
Signum.
Yeah. It's kind of, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. First thing, it sounds kind of weird. Signum.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, how about just Signal? But then Claude told me that Signal actually there's a company that already has a lot of brand power around Signal.
Yeah, it's the secure messaging app.
See, you know. And so what I landed on, which I like, it's a bit kind of quirky. So we'll see. Now it's called Leg Up.
Leg Up.
Yeah, so it's like
that could work.
Have a leg up when you go into
that could work.
Compensation negotiations.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about like blind, right, levels, leg up, you could turn it into a brand. It would work.
So now I'm at a point where I'm actually getting ready to launch to pre-alpha friends, which includes you. So I'm just waiting for Apple to approve the build, and you'll get my invite. But
all right.
Like I've just been so like addicted to like building this thing because it's been so fast in making progress.
Cool. Yeah, I will say that like for me, I guess like for me too, because I just don't know how to code. It's actually been quite interesting. You always have these ideas, right? But you're just like, oh, I need a UX person, like I need a UX friend, or I need like a dev friend to help me out, right? But now it's just like you can kind of do it again. You can solo do it, right? Zero to one.
Yeah. So now it's like, man, if I can do something like this in 20 hours, like less than a day.
Yeah.
How many apps, how many things can I build to just throw out there and see what sticks?
What are you using for your backend? Like, how are you storing all the data?
So Supabase. Supabase
You have a
is,
super.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It pretty much did everything for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good luck. Good luck on the launch.
Yeah, I'll show it to you after this episode a bit. But so yeah, that's what I've been using AI stuff for, and dude, it's so powerful. So I think we both know that, but
Yeah.
I'm just blown away by the
Yeah.
capabilities. And so when we talk about this, yes, entry level engineering is quickly shifting in terms of like not as lucrative a career as it used to be, right? And then the other one that you are coming on is design. Like, I think design function has some huge problems going forward as a role.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because like design, like I feel like at the moment there's not a lot of like novel things that need to be like created, or you don't need to come up with like a novel design at this point, right? Or it's something I feel like UI could do. Like if you gave it constraints, right? Some like guardrails, boundaries, it can come up with like a solution for it. Whereas like the programming, there is a case where some new problems do occur when technology develops, right? And that's at the moment a little bit more challenging for AI to solve, since it's always based off past work. And so that's where like senior engineers and such probably bring some value. But yeah, I think entry level, especially like you and me, like we have some experience, we kind of know how the development process works, what we're looking for, and these tools just enable us to be able to like actually bring a vision to life, right? So yeah, I mean, it's interesting times. I guess we'll see.
We shall see.
We'll see. There we go.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll have more to talk about in this domain next episode, which is episode 100. Crazy. Almost 2 years.
Yeah, I know. 2 years.
But I hope this episode is enjoyable. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, tell your friends, leave comments. And if you like the direction that we're going in, which is talking more about our experiences with using AI and agentic and agents, let us know and we'll talk more about that.
Yep.
All right. See you next week.
See ya.